Hello and a very warm welcome. This is a talking show and we are very glad to actually have such a session, and today we are going to be talking about happiness. And before I begin, I would love to maybe to have a few definitions from you, our viewer out there. What do you think is happiness? Because everyone is in pursuit of happiness. May it be a small child, may it be a business person, may it be a husband or a wife, everybody is in pursuit of happiness. And each and every day we are working so hard so that we may achieve happiness inside of our lives. But many people do not actually know the true definition of happiness. And even if they know the definition of happiness, how do they get to that happiness? So in terms of the dictionary, it explains happiness as a feeling of satisfaction, or whereby emotions that are engaged to a point whereby excitement and fulfillment. But today I want us to talk about happiness that actually goes beyond feelings and emotions, and this we will call true happiness. So there is happiness and there is true happiness. So please stick with me. I'm your host, Henry Maina, as I take you through the lecture of happiness. First and foremost, I want to begin by giving you a story. There once lived a father, long time ago. And this father was actually a long distance trader. So he would travel from one country to the other country. But one day, the son told the father, "Father, why is it that most of the time when you travel, you don't take me with you?" So what the father did, he promised the son, "One day, son, I will take you with me. But I can assure you, my next journey is a difficult journey. I'm going to be traveling through the desert." And the son said, "It's okay, father. You have traveled through the desert many times and you have made it through. So the next journey, I want to go with you." So the father agreed. So if it were you and you are traveling through the desert, what things would you actually prepare for a journey through the desert? I know you'd prepare water, food, even the kind of clothing that you'd actually even have would be, adequate for you to travel through the desert. So the father and the son, they actually began. They did begin their journey in the desert. But as they walked through, something was so amazing that the father and the son were having a very candid conversation. As they journeyed through the desert, the father and the son were talking about stories that they've never talked about before. They were sharing their hearts very freely, and they had all the adequate time. But it came to a point whereby, at one point, the son realized that the father had actually lost the way. He could not tell where actually it was. As you know, in the desert, we have winds that are blowing, and as they blow, it blows the sand, and therefore you don't have like a detailed path. You don't have a clear path in the desert that if I follow this way, then I can be able to reach my destiny. So as they traveled, then the father was trying to struggle in terms of making the route in terms of which they were traveling. But something amazing happened, is that the father each and every time would encourage the son, "Son, don't worry, I am with you." So as they traveled, they had actually calculated the number of days that they'll be on the journey, and they had carried food according to the number of days. So for 5 days, they lost track. That means there were less food for 5 days. So at some point, the food got finished. And also, drinking water got finished. And you're in the desert. So the son was thinking like this, "Father, our food is finished. What will we do? Father, the water is finished. What will we do?" But as they traveled, the father could actually assure the son, "Son, do not worry. Everything is going to be okay." Irrespective that the father would speak to the son this way, the son would look at the situation. "Father, we're in the desert. We are getting lost. We don't know the way. Our food is over. Water is over. Then what happens, or what comes to the mind of the son who does not have hope? So continuously the son only thought about dying in the desert with no food, with no water. But each and every time the father would encourage the son, "Son, don't worry, we will make it through." So irrespective that the father was trying to encourage the son like this, the son could not get any hope inside of him. So as they journeyed through, all of a sudden they came across a grave. As you're traveling through the desert, no food, no water, and then you come across a grave, what comes to your mind? For sure, this person, as they were traveling through the desert, also they died because they lacked food, they lacked water. So the son was thinking like this is the end of us. Much in fact, he told the father, "Father, who will bury us? How will our mother know that we actually died in the desert? Who will come to rescue us, or not actually rescue, but who will come to bury us?" Because the son had already gotten to a point of despair, to the point whereby the only thing that which he saw was death. So once again, the father had a different perspective from the son. "Son, do not worry." And then he asked the father, the son, "Son, do the dead bury themselves?" The son thought for a minute and then said, "No, father, they are buried." And then the father said to the son, the same way, "This person never buried themselves. But in fact, everywhere you see a grave, it only means that there's a village nearby." But the son could not actually understand the father. "Father, this is a dead person. This is a grave." Then it only means death. So there were two people traveling on the same journey, but they had two different perspectives. They had two different hearts. According to the father, there is hope. According to the son, there is no hope. And at some point, when they walked from the grave, just a few meters away, they were actually able to meet a village. And that is how, at the end of the day, they were able to make it through the desert. Then what is it that we learn from this story? Number one is actually we see that the father is the one who is trying to give the son hope. The father is the one who is trying to give the son the heart of happiness. One thing of which we should realize in our life is that, yes, sometimes our life is just like the desert. Things happen of which make our happiness, our joy to fade away. And especially during this time even of COVID-19, the pandemic, so many things of which have happened, and then happiness of which you had disappears. But now the biggest aspect is, who are you communicating with? Just like the father and the son, the father was there to give a heart of happiness, irrespective that the son had lost everything inside of him. So that is why it's very important to always have a person whom you can be able to draw your happiness from. I want to tell you something like this: happiness by ourselves, we cannot be able to achieve. That is why we need a different person to actually give us happiness, joy. Just like we have water flowing through the pipes from one destination to another destination, it is the same with happiness. Happiness flows from one person to another person. But people who are disconnected, people who are not in frequent communication with other people, then they cannot be able to get the happiness from other people. They cannot be able to get the flow of the heart from other people. That is why in our life, the situation is not what is most important. Even during this time of pandemic, we have two different types of people. There are those people who have come out happy. There are those people who are able to overcome the situation, and there are those people who are not able to overcome this situation. Then who are the people who are able to overcome this situation? These are the people who now go beyond the situation. That is why about hope, it is not about the situation. About happiness, it is not about the situation. About despair and falling into depression is not about the situation. That is why the father and the son, they are traveling through the desert. Yes, there's no food, there's no water. Yes, but the father has hope. Yet the son doesn't have hope. But the father is working towards giving the son a heart of hope. That is why, all of us should learn about this aspect about the world of the heart. It is very amazing, very, very amazing. You can be in a situation, but you don't allow your heart to fall into that situation. That is why we have now two types of happiness. There's happiness that comes from the situation, and there's true happiness that is not based on the situation. For example, one day you win a jackpot. During that time, you're very happy. But what happens when the money gets finished? Then do you fall into despair? Then your happiness was based upon the money. Then many people are living their lives in this way. Then only pegging their happiness based upon a good situation. But what happens when the situation changes? Because in the life of which you are living right now, it's very unpredictable. You cannot tell what will happen. And for sure, challenges and problems will come our way. This is something of which each and every one of us should be assured that challenges, problems, difficulties, they will come your way. But when they come along your way, what happens to the happiness inside of your heart? Then we have either the happiness overcomes the situation, or the situation overcomes the happiness inside of our heart. That is why it's very important for us to realize that there is true happiness that goes beyond the situation. Now, we have two types of people, just like I said. People who are able to make use of the world of the heart. For example, we have an old car and a new car. And especially right now, when you check the new models of the cars of which are coming up, they have so many functions inside of them. For example, there is the air conditioner. When you check the old model of cars, they never had this function. Also, like the window, the windowed power, we call it the powered window system, whereby you just press a button and then you can open the window, you can close the window. The same way, the car, some cars have the function of like maps. You can tap in and then you can be able to see. So when you compare an old car and a new car, they're very different in terms of the functions of which they have inside of them. But imagine I have a new car, but I'm not able to make use of the functions inside of that car. I don't know how to make use of the air conditioner. I don't know how to make use of the map. I don't know how to make use of maybe, all the functions that are inside this car. Then I'm as good as a person who has the old model. God has created each and every one of us with a heart. And now the functions of the heart are more complicated than any other car that you can ever think of in this world. God has placed so many functionalities inside of our heart. I'll give another example. This time, I'll use the television set. When you have a television and then the volume is too high, what do? Do you pick the screen and then crush it down so that the volume can go low? Do you pick a stone and then hit on the screen so that the screen can stop making the big noise? No. What you do is that using the function of the volume button, then you are able to decrease the volume. The same thing with brightness. So the same way God created us with these functions inside of us. When the situation is too difficult, God gives us the function whereby we can be able to press a certain button and we are able to overcome that situation. But many people are living just like having an old model of a car. Yes, these functions, they have them in the world of the heart, but they're not able to make use of them. That is why when the situation is difficult and you have a problem, and you're not able to overcome these problems, there's one way: the function of the heart. There's a button whereby you can press, and then you can be able to gain happiness. Then that happiness is able to overcome the situation. But people who don't know about this functionality, they're not able. So how is it then that we can be able to gain happiness? Number one is by the aspect whereby we can be able to realize that we ourselves don't have the ability to manufacture happiness by ourselves. I'll repeat again. We don't have the ability to manufacture happiness by ourselves. What we do is that we should gain that happiness from other people. And then when we gain that happiness, it becomes our own happiness. Just like the father and the son who are traveling through the desert. The father is telling the son, don't worry, we will get there, we will live. No, the father wanted to transfer this heart to the son. So if the son is able to get this heart, we will live, we will overcome this, then for sure the son is able to overcome the situation. But now, if the son is not in a position whereby to receive this heart of happiness, this heart of hope inside of him, then he cannot be able to overcome. That is why people who trust in themselves, people who think that they are okay, people who think that they are right, then they cannot be able to receive the opinion of other people. They cannot be able to receive the heart of other people. Then through this, they can't help but live an isolated life. And then when they live an isolated life, they cannot be able to have the happiness that other people have. Everyone falling into difficulty, having a difficult problem is not a problem. The problem is you don't have a person to solve that problem. In the world of which we are living in, it's very difficult for people to say there are no problems. But I want to tell you, from talking show, from mindset lectures, even from the book of which the author of Mind Lecture, Reverend Dr. Oksupak, has written, for him, he says, in this world, there are no problems. The problem is you don't have a person to solve that problem. That is the problem. When you don't have the ability to receive a solution from another person, when you don't have the ability to receive hope from another person, we don't have the ability to receive happiness from another person. That is how you end up living in misery, living in despair. But for people who have the function to receive happiness from other people, for sure, they live a very different life. By this, then what do I mean? Do you have a mentor? Do you have a person that you listen to? Do you have a person that actually guides your life? Who do you listen from? Or do you consult by yourself? There are some people in this world, they conclude matters by themselves. Not only that, but they judge things only from their own perspective. Then this kind of people can never have true happiness. As I said, yes, there is happiness, but if your happiness is pegged only on the situation, then you are the kind of a person when situations change, then also your happiness change. That is why are you sometimes happy? Why are you sometimes sad? Because your happiness is pegged on the situation. Then if you're the kind of people who are living this way, always know that you will always have alterations. And when you're in despair and you're in hopelessness, then you are also at a danger, at a risk of falling into so many other things. Because when people are sad, when people are falling into despair, then they try to find other means to have happiness. For example, people go out drinking all day. There's one term that became very famous in Kenya, party after party. Party after party. Why do people go to a party after another party? I don't know whether these things still exist now that we have the lockdown and where people cannot be able to gather in large numbers. But in one way or another, why are people going to such kind of places? Because they're in search of happiness. Then if I don't find happiness here, then I move to the next place trying to search for happiness. Today, through this talking show and through the Mind Lecture, then there's one thing to consider. There's a way whereby you can be able to gain true happiness inside of you. And this is when you allow another heart to flow inside of you, a different heart from your own heart. that is how we can be able now to overcome these kind of things. I'll tell you another story, still based on the father and the son, also traveling. And this time round, the father is a sailor. And as the father was traveling, also the son felt that for a very long time he didn't have enough time with the father. So one day, the father decided to take the son with him. But on one condition: son, if you are to come with me, please carry a lot of toys. Because when we are traveling in the sea, for a very long time, the only thing that you'll be able to see is the water, the blue color. And it gets boring at some time. So for you not to get bored, please carry what? Toys. So this is actually what the son did. But he also went a step further. He brought with him his favorite pet. He had a monkey. Everyone, which kind of a pet do you have? No, for this young boy, he had a monkey as a pet. So while they were traveling on the boat, he had a very good time playing with his toys. But beyond that, the best time for him when they were playing with the monkey. So one day as they were playing, they were jumping up and down, and then all of a sudden, the monkey took the cape of which the son was wearing. So the son was chasing the monkey, around the boat, trying to take the cape back. But all of a sudden, the monkey climbed on the mast of the boat. So up it went, and then, blindly, the son also of the sailor also was doing what? Climbing the mast. And especially when children are playing, sometimes they do things unknowingly. So unknowingly, he climbed up and up. So as the monkey goes up, the boy is also going up. Then all of a sudden, he realized that he was at the very top of the mast. So what the monkey did, as you know, monkeys are jumpy. They can be able to jump from a very high place, and then the monkey jumped, from the mast to the boat. But now, the son was left there. What do you think happened to the boy? Did he jump? If it were you, would you jump from high up the mast? When the boy found out that he could not jump, now he got more scared. So when the sailors were coming to check, and then they saw, the son of the captain is up the mast. What shall we do? So everybody was expectant. What will the captain do? What will the father of this young boy do? But he went into his room, and then amazingly, to the surprise of each and everyone, he brought a gun. Then he was pointing it at the son. Son, I'm counting up to 3. If you don't jump, I will shoot. So everybody was surprised. Why is the father too harsh? Why is the father getting a gun? But the father had something that he wanted to pass on to the boy. And then he started, 1, 2. No, the boy now started thinking, my father is a man of his words. Whatever he says, he accomplishes. So he was trying to think, for sure, my father is going to shoot. So the order of the father was, jump, release the mast, and jump into the water. But the boy was so scared to jump into the water. And remember, the father has already counted 1, 2. So when the father reached at 2, then the son thought like this: if I don't release, my father will surely shoot. So what the son did is that he released the mast and then kicked the mast and then jumped into the water. Even with this kind of a concept, then we can be able to see. The father wants to pass on the heart to the son to jump into the water, because if he jumps into the water, then the sailors are good in swimming. Then they went and saved the young boy inside the water. But if the boy had released the mast and then fallen onto the floor of the boat, actually he would either have died or have broken, legs or limbs or even his neck. So other than him falling into the boat, the father wanted the son to jump into the water, very well knowing that if he jumps into the water, then he will not be injured. And then at that time, the sailors will save him. So that was the heart of the father. But at some point, then the son could not understand this. Why is my father bringing a gun? Even those people who are around him, they could not understand. Why is my father bringing a gun to shoot? Then here comes also as we live our life. There are some things of which people tell us, or we are guided in such a way whereby we don't understand. It's not like, it's not in line with your thoughts. It's not in line with your plans. But if you are able to receive the guidance of other people, if you are able to receive the happiness of other people, hope of other people, then for sure, even if it does not match to your expectations, but you are able now to receive something different and you're able to overcome. Everyone, in our life, we need to continuously realize that we need to receive the heart of other people. We need to receive the hope that is coming from other people. Then, and especially the young people in our generation, we think that we know. We think that we are okay. We think that our parents are bothering us when they're telling us something. But people who are able to make use of this ability inside of their heart, listening to other people, then they are able to overcome these kind of aspects inside of their heart. That is why continuously inside of our life, we must be the kind of people who receive happiness from other people. Having sadness is not a problem. Then how is it that we are able to live a life of happiness? There are three things of which are very important. Number one is having a strong heart. And as I've said, just like the son who was traveling in the desert, we need to receive a strong heart from other people. How? By colliding with burdens and challenges. People who run away from challenges and problems, thinking that life will be easy or taking a shortcut in something, at the end of the day, they develop something called a weak heart. But people who have a strong heart, they are able now to live a life of happiness. Why? Once they overcome one problem, then they gain muscles of the heart. They gain even, an aspect whereby they are able to consider this is no longer a problem. And then continuously they are able to overcome. Then number two is wisdom. Then what is true wisdom? True wisdom is realizing that we are lacking. We are people who have been created, in a weak way. That is why we need each other. No man is an island. One musician actually said, no man is an island. We need each and every other person within the society. Maybe this person is a young person, maybe this person is an old person. Whoever it is within the society, it's very important for us to realize that the way that human beings have been created, they have been created as social beings. We need to interact more. We need to have conversations more. We need actually to receive corrections also from other people more. But when people are corrected, when people are rebuked, then they tend to think that this is a person who is not concerned about you. But true wisdom is actually realizing that we need the help of other people. And this cannot come other than through rebuke, through corrections. And then number three, exchange. Exchange in the manner whereby, we all have different characters. Just like fruits have different flavors. There's a flavor of a banana, there's a flavor of pineapple, there's a flavor of orange. That is how we are within a society. Then for us, to live in a common society, then we need to exchange the flavor of each and every one. What I mean is that each and everyone should feel the flavor of another person. If it's a banana, should feel the flavor of a pineapple. Then if it is me, then I should feel living a life whereby I'm able to feel the heart of other people. Not only begging or tagging only my own opinion, only my own flavor. Imagine whereby I lived a life only considering my own opinions. But God has given us an opportunity to have the flavor of other people. That is why I don't know, but if you are given one fruit and you are given a fruit salad, which one would you go for? Fruit salad or a single fruit? Then people who go for the fruit salad, they want to go for a mixed flavor. Then also in our life, God is giving us this kind of an opportunity to exchange our hearts continuously with different people, even though they have different character. I'm able to receive their heart and also receive their flavor. So through this, then we can live a life of happiness. There's one fruit called the durian fruit, and especially within the countries like Philippines, it is usually very common. And then this durian fruit, it has a very special characteristic. It is said to have the smell of hell, but the taste of heaven. So, as you can see from that person who is trying to eat that fruit, the smell is very disgusting. If they try to only depend upon the smell of that fruit, nobody can ever eat it. But if you are able to overcome the smell of that fruit and then put it in your mouth, then the flavor and the taste is that of heaven. That is why I'm saying happiness comes from other people. In the very beginning, it seems as if it is very difficult for us to continuously exchange our hearts, and especially people maybe who have been heartbroken before, people who have suffered different experiences through different people. In the very beginning, they're not able to trust the other people. But one thing is for sure, the more you overcome the physical perspective of something and learn of the heart behind that one person, then you're able to live a person who is receiving the hearts of other people. So that is why we should not judge. We should not only see things from the physical perspective. Some people, when they live with other people, this person, he's always like this. He's always nagging people. His character is like this. Then if you live like that, you are never able to feel the heart of the other person. You're never able to receive the heart of that other person. So that is why we should learn of this one big ability of the world of the heart, receiving the heart of other people. And as I said, how is it that we can be able to receive the heart of other people when we realize that we are not 100%? I need other people. I need to listen to other people. Through this, for sure, you can live a life of true happiness. That is why during this talking show, when we talk about happiness, then we are saying that happiness is not something of which is very far away from us. Happiness is very close to us. Much in fact, happiness is only one step away from you. But people tend to give up when they see the situation, when they see the physical aspect of it. During this time of COVID-19, many people, we can hear of many people killing each other, many people killing themselves, including husband and wife, including parents and their children. Why is it? It's because they are not able to, receive the hearts of other people. If a person who is trying to commit suicide, if they only opened their heart a little bit and then willing to receive the heart of other people, then that heart of suicide can fade away by receiving the heart of other people. So I'm very glad that God has given us this aspect whereby even if we don't have happiness, we can receive happiness. Even if I don't have hope, I can receive hope. Even if the situation for me is too difficult, even if the situation is too problematic to me, that's not the end. There is a person who can be able to solve that problem. That is why we need also mentors. When was the last time you actually talked to a person from the heart-to-heart aspect of it? That is why, within Talking Show, we are very glad to have these mind lectures to teach us about the world of the heart. More to it, we do have reading materials of which are available. As you can see beside me, we have books that can be available to you. If you are able to get in touch with us, then we can also avail this kind of books to you. There's one book that I love reading a lot, and I have it with me. It's called Navigating the Heart. Navigating the Heart actually speaks about happiness in one of its topics. And that is where I am also able to learn these kind of things. Happiness comes from other people. Happiness comes from living within a society whereby we are able to feel the flavor of other people. Yes, it may be like a lemon. The character of a person may be like a lemon. It seems so bitter. And especially even when parents are guiding us, sometimes we don't understand. But truly, if we are able to receive the heart of our parents, the heart of our guardians, the heart of our teachers, the heart of even our mentors, then for sure we can be able to live a life of true happiness. And above everything, there's a friend who is more than just a friend. And this is Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ is the one who is giving us a heart of righteousness, a heart of happiness. And the heart of Jesus is not based upon the situation. If you can try and imagine the life that Jesus lived in this world, he was persecuted everywhere he went. People are kind of, not willing to receive him. That is why the Bible says, and he came to his own, and even his own rejected him. But beyond this, Jesus Christ still had true happiness. Why? Is because he was able to receive the heart of his Father, God. So if even us, if you are able to receive the heart of Jesus, then the heart of Jesus is able to overcome each and everything. So I'm very happy to actually realize about the world of the heart. Not only judging things on the physical perspective, but also receiving things from the world of the heart. So I'm very grateful. And today, in summary, in terms of happiness, number one, realize that you are a weak person. You are not able to manufacture happiness by yourself. Number two, don't run away from challenges and problems. As you face these challenges and problems, then encounter them with the heart that you are able to overcome this, especially if you receive the heart of Jesus Christ. No problem can be able to defeat you. Last but not least, live the life of exchange. Live the life of having conversation with different people. Through this, the heart of happiness can continuously flow inside of our life. So thank you very much. I have been your host, Henry Maina, and remember, 21144 is the SMS line. You can also get in touch with us through the social media handles that are provided below here. That is GBS, and also that is on Facebook and also on YouTube. Thank you very much. Until next time, thank you.